Right, we're joined by Zoom by Willem Els, Senior Training Coordinator on Terrorism and Explosives-Related Incidents at the Institute for Security Studies. Willem, good afternoon. Thank you for your time with us here on the SABC.
Good afternoon, Liesel.
Right, so on the back of what the Minister echoed in the briefing earlier on, he's told the media that there are persons of interest in these attacks. Are you of the view that these attacks have been coordinated? What dynamics unfolding, perhaps to help us understand really what's at stake, what's happening here?
Yeah, Liesel, from the available information, it seems to us that these attacks are quite coordinated. We see that they targeted specific routes, and those are the routes that form a part of the gateway to Africa, not only for our economy, but also for the economies of our neighboring countries that make use of our ports. And also, if we look at the attacks, they are well coordinated, they are well executed, and it seems that these guys are really controlled, maybe from a centralized position.
Thank you for that, Willem, because we obviously have to look at how we deal with this issue. The economic mafia, as it's been dubbed, is a growing phenomenon in South Africa. The Minister has now also alluded to that. And I wonder how law enforcement can begin to play their role in tackling this going forward.
Liesel, this is an occurrence, and these torching of trucks have been with us for several years now, up to 5 years, and we haven't seen arrest of any of the kingpins or any major arrest that came to the fore based on the investigations on what's going on there. So I believe this is the ideal time for the Minister, as also the police, as well as your intelligence services, to redeem themselves by really taking swift action. We see that it seems that intelligence was once again, or is still lacking, and that's why we did not have preempted measures in order to prevent these attacks. But when it goes to the investigation, what is the time now is that the police should pool all their resources, they should make that a priority, and they should actually focus on gathering some more information and intelligence in terms of getting behind who are the perpetrators, who are the kingpins, who's coordinating all of this. And you have to get to the head of this operation. Otherwise, it will still be with us next year and the year after.
You speak about the July unrest and how we're still awaiting justice on that front. So in your opinion at this point, do you have hope in law enforcement doing their job and finding the perpetrators? Do you think that the perpetrators this time around will also be brought to book? What's emerging on that front?
Liesel, unfortunately so, as you rightly mentioned, that we haven't seen a lot. It is not just good enough to arrest a radio commentator or presenter and someone who stole some meat. We need to get to the kingpins of what is going on here. We need to see justice in court, not only just for the people who suffered under that, but for South Africa. And that will do a lot to restore the confidence in the police, because the confidence in the police and the intelligence services is at the moment at an all-time low because of the inactions in order to curb these type of things. You rightly mentioned that we have the 2-year anniversary of what happened, and still we haven't seen justice to the extent that we need to curb that for once of all in South Africa.
The impact is across the value chain. It's got immense impact on the economy as well, both short-term and long-term. I wonder if you can contextualize what that looks like. Perhaps import and export supply chains. I'm looking at job losses, the precarious economic situation, even our status as the gateway of Africa, which you also alluded to a little earlier on.
That is correct. If you start at every attack, if you look at a single attack on a truck, depending on the freight that it was carried, we look at the vicinity of about 10 million rand. Just that is lost in that. Apart from that, we might see some job losses. We might also see that some smaller companies might have to close down. That will also lead to some more job losses. But apart from that, it will have an impact on our food security, because all of these costs at the end of the day will be carried by you and me as a consumer. These are the main routes of the food that has been transported, and all the other commodities that has been transported, not only imported and exported, but also across the country and also towards our neighboring countries. We read some articles and some comment that was made over the past few days, and they say that this might cost the country billions.
What about the role of intelligence at this point?
Unfortunately, so as I mentioned, it seems that they once again failed us. Intelligence is mainly there to provide a bird's eye view and also some information for your decision makers in order to preempt something like this. And we see that there was nothing on the table that is visible for the public, and that just gave us the assumption that once again there was no credible intelligence on the table at the moment. And that is the only way that you can actually get behind this, because intelligence is going to lead you to who the kingsmen are. Intelligence are going to lead you to where the next attacks will be that can be prevented. And it seems to me that they are failing us at the moment.
Willem Els, thank you for weighing in on that matter. This as announced by the Police Minister, Bheki Cele, investigations into the recent torching of the trucks on the country's national roads. We'll continue to monitor the situation, perhaps as it's now occurred in various parts of the country, different provinces, a developing story. We'll wait to see what emerges from there.